You're listening to 90.8 Hills FM Radio.
This is 90.8 Hills FM radio station, using our voice to rate your choice. Stay tuned.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the second week of the TaFMA Thursday. This is your RJ Gugu, and welcome to 90.8 Hills FM, the voice of change. Well, what can I say, or what can we say, but look forward to today's Band of the Week, Polar Lights. We have the content that speaks about Polar Lights, their journey, and this is with and was RJ. How do we all have seen the poster, and we know that you want us to tell you which RJ it was, but you might want to know that it was RJ Marjan who did the interview, and it's a wonderful conversation that you would enjoy with all of us. But before that, there's a wonderful message from the band on behalf of the band, and you might want to listen up for this. So here it goes.
Hey everyone, Mar here from Polar Lights. Just a quick message to all the people that's listening, and also to our fans and supporters. Thank you for always supporting Polar Lights. You guys have been very generous and kind with the music that we've been putting out. So I just wanted to let you all know that we appreciate you, and your support means the world to us. Also, thank you to the Hills FM team for having me on behalf of the band. I really had an amazing time, really enjoyed the conversations that I had with Marjong. So yeah, keep doing the amazing work that you guys have been doing, and you'll always have the support of our band. Once again, thank you for listening, and yeah, hope to catch you all very soon.
Well, with that wonderful message from the band and also the interview that's coming up with Marjung, it is important to give a slight reminder again what TaFMA Thursday is about. So TaFMA Thursday is especially, it's going to run for 6 months, and today is the second week of the Thursday that the community radio is running, and I am so glad and fortunate to do this live with all of you. So all those out there who love to be featured and you have your favorite band, you can actually request to the community radio whom you want to listen to. What do you want to know about them? And you can send out all your queries and questions, and also demand which artist or band you would like to listen to. So that's how the community radio works. And the TaFMA Thursday is to actually feature our local grown organic musicians in the state, and this goes beyond all the districts. So for those out there who would like to be featured, you know where to get through us on Instagram, on Facebook, and also the numbers that we have on our social media handle. We would love to hear from you, and the more you demand, the more we do it creatively. I must say that all of you must be knowing before me much more than me, but a more brief about Polar Lights is they come from the genre pop rock band. They're based in Dimapur, and they were formed in early 2013 with a lot of nook and corners of about their albums, the singles that they have made, such as The Parade and A Murder Machine that came very popular and famous and viral. The Polar Lights intent with their song Bleed Out Loud is about them coming back and taking a stand on what they believe in is the right track for the band. On this note, if you are tuning in right now live, I would want you to spend some time listening to their first song, Castled. And why I say Castled with the first song of their choice is it talks about relationship, for which I understood when I go through their lyrics. It talks about their parents, it talks about the relationship with each one of them, and how the song responds to what the person feels. I hope you enjoy, for which here's Castle.
I'm running away from the warmth of a mother. Say my goodbyes, I'll miss the breeze and the kiss of a lover. I'll leave a note, apologies to my older two brothers. You'll have the world down at your feet, oh. You'll have the world down at your feet, oh. I'm running away from the sickness that gives me up at night. I tried to reason with the voices, am I losing my mind? And I can't believe I found a girl in my dreams. I can't believe I found a girl in my dreams. I can't believe, oh. So tell my precious that I miss her. Don't judge me for the sins that I left resting on your shoulders. There's more to life than just the flashes and your camera pictures. But I hope you find the time to look beyond the mirrors when your world comes crashing. I hope you find someone to keep that heartbeat racing in sickness and in health. I hope you find your true religion, your sun and stormy weathers. Cause half of all these books just preach about his faith runs deeper. I'm running away from everything that I know, and all of the lights that mend the cracks in my bones. I'm running away from everything that I know. You build us a castle but it don't feel like a home. So to my father, yeah, I'm sorry that I dropped out of college. I couldn't give into the rituals and pretend to be honest. I know you hate the fact that I chose to leave that world behind. Your name around my neck was like watching the world with blurry eyes. And I don't mean the phrase with disrespect, cause I owe this life to you. So I'll take off the rope around my neck and leap right out the roof. Oh, I don't wanna go to sleep afraid of my pillow. I don't wanna go to sleep at all. I'm running away from the warmth of a mother. Say my goodbyes, I'll miss the breeze and the kiss of a lover. I'll leave a note, apologies to my older two brothers. You'll have the world down at your feet, oh. You'll have the world down at your feet, oh. I'm running away from the sickness that gets me up at night. I tried to reason with the voices, am I losing my mind? I hope you know I wore my heart on my sleeve, though. Shed me a tear when I forget how to breathe, oh. When I forget how to breathe, oh. When I forget how to breathe, oh. When I forget how to breathe, oh.
Well, that was Castled, and I'm sure you enjoyed that. It was a personal selection from the band to let you hear. Now we would have the interview with Polar Lights by Margin. So enjoy, sit back, and listen carefully what the band has to say about the journey.
You're listening to
station, using our voice to rate your choice. Stay tuned.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to 90.8 Hills FM, Music in Focus. And today I am elated to have the band Polar Lights. Although the whole band couldn't make it, it's an absolute pleasure to have Mar Jamir, the frontman of the band. Thank you so much for taking the time for this interview.
Thank you so much for having me, Hills FM, and it's a great pleasure to be here, to be a part of this very great initiative taken up by you guys. So I'm just looking forward to a great time and a great interview with you guys.
Thank you so much for that. Before we get into it, let me tell you, the listeners, a little bit about the band. They first emerged 9 years ago, debuting their song Murder Machine, that put them on the map, which was a massive hit. And consists of 4 members, if I'm correct, yeah, and major arenas like in Nagaland, be it Northeast, all over India. So, even though the band's not here, why don't you just give us a short introduction about you, the band, the members, what everybody's doing right now?
So we started, like you mentioned, we started back in 2013. So we started with the 4 of us in the band. We've gone through a couple of lineup changes since then. Like, we started with me on vocals, then we had Vitz, who's a producer right now. He's from Kohima. So it was me, Vitz, Saru, and Sanap. So now fast forward to 2022, we've gone through a lot of lineup changes. We now have me on vocals. I'm the only surviving member from 2013.
So everybody,
yeah.
And then now you're the only surviving member.
So now it's me on vocals, my elder brother who plays the guitars and who also produces for the band. Then Lanu, who's on bass, he's from Kohima. Bundangma on drums, who's also from Kohima. And Nash, if you know of Nash, he plays guitar for Taliang and Alobonaga as well. So he sessions for us on tour and, for our live gigs. So on social media, we're a 4-piece band. But on, during our live gigs and all of that, we're 5.
All right, that's interesting. So let's go all the way back.
Okay.
Like as mentioned before, your debut song, Murder Machine, it was a massive hit. Like, it put you on the map. Did the band exist before the song? Or was that the year that you guys got together?
Actually, I started writing songs before Polar Lights. So I've always been writing songs. So I met Vitz in Bangalore, who was also studying there back then. So he knew that I wrote songs, and he knew that I was really interested in doing music professionally. So with Murder Machine was actually a song that I wrote before Polar Lights.
All right.
So actually I finished the verse and the chorus for the song before Vitz approached me to start a band and just do all of that. So Murder Machine, I wrote Murder Machine before Polar Lights. Then once we formed the band, that was when I finished writing Murder Machine, and the rest is history, I think.
And the name Polar Lights, let's put some emphasis on that. Like, how did that name come about?
Polar Lights was actually a name that we actually ran through a lot of lists.
Right.
I think the toughest decision any band has to make when starting up is actually finding a name for the band.
Because people say, what's in a name? But there's a lot a name carries, right?
Exactly. But not really with Polar Lights, because I think it just sounded appealing to us, I think, at that time. So
there's no meaning behind,
no history, nothing. Yeah.
Okay, that's I mean, to each their own, I think, in that sense. Okay. It is so like you said, you write the songs and then the band takes it from there. Like, just take us through the whole process, your creative process. Like, does the melody come first, or like the lyrics come?
So usually it's me just on the piano and me trying to come up with phrases or just a melody line. And if I'm able to do that, I'll pitch that song over to the band. And from there they take it and they try and turn that song into something that you hear on record, or you find our songs on Spotify and all of that.
So basically you formed a structure and that's how it goes from there. That is-
Usually. Or sometimes
usually.
it's the other way around as well.
Because I think every song, it's not like you. I think every song is different, right? Like the process that goes into it. Okay, let me shed some light on your solo project that you released during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Dear Me. Well, what was that all about? Like, is it a one-time? Was it a one-time project, or do you plan on launching a solo career like sometime in the near future?
I want to do something just on my own. I think it's good to take some time away from Polar Lights as well. And I
Right.
think Dear Me actually did that for me. And I do have plans to put out maybe an album or an EP just as a solo thing. But hopefully once the album cycle is done with, with Polar Lights, you'll get to hear a lot more about my solo projects and all of that. So yeah,
Yeah,
I do
'cause
have plans for it. Yeah.
I feel like you have a lot to offer lyrically. I've gone through a lot of comments.
Okay.
I mean, you are a wordsmith in a lot of ways. So, you've played quite a lot of shows. I mean, from Hornbill to Weekender, and then other shows in and around like Nagaland, Northeast, all over India. So just take us back to your first ever show as Polar Lights.
As Polar Lights, I don't think I remember. When we started out, we did this tour in Nagaland. That was just, I think, Koima Dimapur. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Jumping Bean, which is very close by to this area.
Yes. I mean, I think that was the one place for
That was the
live
only
gigs,
venue,
right? The
yeah,
only
exactly.
venue.
So I think Jumping Bean was the first show that we did in, as Polar Lights. I don't know if that's the right one. I just remember Jumping Bean being the first one. Yeah.
Okay, scratch the first performance. Why not you tell us something about the one performance that sticks to you, like that you remember so vividly?
So we did this tour back in 2019. So this was right before pandemic hit. So we had gone to cities like Bombay, Bangalore, Pune, Guwahati, Shillong, and I think there are a couple more cities I don't remember. And we actually played 2 shows in Pune. So the first night we played the High Spirits. So that's a very notable venue in
Pune.
in the music scene as well. So the second night we did this show called So Far Sounds. I don't know if you know of
Oh,
So Far.
So Far, of
So
course.
Far. So we did this So Far Sounds gig in Pune, and if you know So Far, I think it's So Far Sounds is supposed to be a very intimate,
music
very
oriented, very
intimate, very personal,
Yes.
and the sets are actually very. It's usually very stripped down and acoustic. And our band, we've never really been into playing these kind of shows as an acoustic set and just stripped down music. So, but once we were done playing So Far Sounds, I think with So Far, if you listen to our music, if you listen to the songs, as in with the songwriting and everything, it's usually it's very personal and very, because I write songs in my room, and it's
Right.
this very personal experience that I have with myself and the instrument.
Yeah.
But once all the guitars and everything comes in, it usually sometimes that experience
it takes away the essence of like the whole.
So I think we were able to connect with our audience in that very personal and intimate way, and I think
Right.
So Far was something that we had very low expectations with that show, but once we were done, the response that we got from the audience, and people just coming up to us and telling us that this was something else, this was something that they really enjoyed and all of that. I think that was something very memorable, and I think that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
That's
So,
beautiful.
especially So Far Sounds from Pune. Yeah.
And so that was before the pandemic, and once pandemic hit, I think everything came to a halt, and so did your band. So I think you took a hiatus for quite a while. What happened there?
Actually, we had plans of just carrying on the momentum we had back in 2019 into 2020. We had plans. Actually, the album that we're supposed to put out this month we had plans to put it out in 2020. And once pandemic hit, every one of us were locked inside of our rooms
For
quite a while.
For
actually.
a year, I
For a
think.
year. So with that, I think it gave us some time away from doing music as well, and I think there was something all of us needed in the band, and it just gave us time to do things that weren't related to Polar Lights or just music. It
Right.
gave us some time away, so I think it sort of gave us this fresh perspective on
Yeah.
how we wanted to approach our music post pandemic, and just with the album. So I think
So I really want to talk about Murder Machine.
okay.
I mean, like I said, it was a massive, massive hit. Like when it first came out, it was on everybody's playlist with good reason, right? I think it was it was the song that put you on the map. That once it came out, just
people know us for Murder Machine more than
yeah.
the other songs.
So tell us something about the song. Like what is this song about? Like the lyrics are amazing.
It's
Goes
actually
without
a very
saying.
funny story because I think people have the very different interpretation of
Right.
what the song is. Everyone will have their own interpretation of what the song means to them. But for me, writing the song, I never had this mystical experience with just writing Murder Machine, and I had no expectation that the song will become what it is today.
Yeah.
And just honestly speaking, Murder Machine, I in a way regret writing Murder Machine,
Why so?
because with the song and what the song is, I feel like I'm talking about subjects that I had no experience, right? As in, I had no authority or experience writing about, as in experience. Because the song, if you listen to the lyrics, it's quite deep, and the second verse goes, "Come along, we've got a long way to go. Just write your names in blood and watch your stories unfold." It's deep, but I never really experienced something like that. And I've been getting this question a lot, and they tell me that Murder Machine is one of their favorite songs. But just as a songwriter and as a musician,
not yours.
it's not mine actually, because I had no experience with the things that I was singing about in the song.
Right.
So I think it's a fun fact if any
That
of
is
you are
definitely
listening.
a fun fact. So definitely something I did not know. I mean, I thought like this song, you strongly felt for it, and then that's how it came about.
I think, but most songs are like that with artists as well. So yeah.
I mean, another song that I personally love has been on my playlist. I've favorited it for the longest time. Pride and Blurry Vision. Very, I don't know. It just touched me in a way that I really didn't expect. Yeah, I really connected to the song. So my question: was there a muse for the song? Like, did you? How did you come about like writing this song?
Especially, just taking the 2013, 2014, 2015 15 period with me writing all of these songs. Most of my songwriting were not actually personal experiences, but me just having an observation and
Just putting yourself in the shoes,
in the shoes of someone else. So I think that was the approach that I took with writing Murder Machine. And you're actually one of the first people, or one of the first person to tell me that Pride and Blurry Vision is one of their favorite songs.
I mean, it's been my favorite for the longest time.
So it's quite surprising that you like that. Like that was the approach that I took with writing Pride and Blurry Visions. Just putting myself in the shoes of someone else. Someone that has gone through abuse and just bad things. And yeah, that was how Pride and Blurry Vision was born.
That is beautiful. Well, when I went through your work on YouTube, you have one album out and 6 singles. So why not put the 6 singles in one album or in an EP and make it like? Why did you release it individually? Like, what was going on there?
So actually, the first 6 singles were actually, we put them out before we put
The album?
The album, yeah. So the EP, I think I'd call it an EP. So we put the EP out in 2016, and the rest of the singles were with Murder Machine, then Empty Hallway and a Candlelight, Parade, and there's a song called Bleed Out Loud. So they were all put out as singles, I think, just for us to gain a bit of traction with our music. And once we had that, we wanted to move forward with an EP. So that was the entire strategy of us just putting
Right.
singles out.
So that was when you were first starting out. So
Uh-huh.
you were just putting out singles and singles, and then, right? I mean, you came. You guys emerged 9 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it wasn't. The internet was still around. We had Instagram, Facebook, but the way we're utilizing these social media platforms to promote our music, I mean, we didn't really do that back then.
No.
So how did you? What approach did you take, to spread your music to a bigger audience back then?
I think especially with our songs, we've been fortunate enough, to especially with Murder Machine. I think we had YouTube and Facebook back then, but I think with Murder Machine and us and it going viral, I think word of mouth had a lot to
Yeah.
do with it as well. No,
I think the song itself was because it was a catalyst,
so a lot of people were talking about the song, and
Right.
so we had no Instagram, and we had Twitter. Like, and Instagram wasn't. I don't know if
No, of
Instagram,
course we had like these things, these platforms were around, but then we didn't have as many users like we do
exactly.
now.
Yes. So I think just word of mouth and people talking about Polar Lights was something that we were fortunate enough, and the attention we got with a Murder Machine was something that I think we don't even get that these days, especially with the
Yeah.
band as well. No, so yeah.
I mean, when I go through your YouTube comments, okay, like, because of course for this interview I had to just go through a few things, and then one of my favorite thing is going through YouTube comments, because you find a lot of gems there. And then what I noticed was like how how genuine all your fans write to you. They're breaking apart, they're taking parts of the song, be it like the arrangement or the concept or the lyrics, and I mean it only goes to show like the appreciation they have for what you're putting out. And so that being said, like, is there a message of any sort that you'd like to leave behind with your music for your fans?
I think our music is we try to stay very honest and as transparent as we can with our art, and I think that is something that we want to show our fans and tell our fans and our listeners to not be afraid to do something that's I think frowned upon by society, and because we've always done things with especially with Polar Lights, we've always done music that first of all we'd enjoy, and we don't write music for our fans or for our audience. We write music for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. So I think with our music we want to show and tell our audience that it's okay to follow your passion in the most cliche
Yeah.
way as possible. So I think it's important that you do something that you first of all enjoy, and not worry about the judgment or the way people perceive us or them or you. So yeah.
I mean, that being said, I think we have a lot of talent, like in Nagaland. I just feel we're not able to reach our like full potential, right? So why do you think that is?
I think especially with my experience as as a musician and doing this as a profession, I think our people, especially Nagas, are not very interested in networking with people that are not from Nagaland.
Right.
So I think networking, especially in music, if you want to do something serious with your music, networking is very important, I feel. So I think that's something that we've been doing since our EP, because before then we had no one to tell us to go out and write an email to a promoter,
Right.
and just network, try and find gigs outside of Nagaland, and just things like that. Because I think we fail to look at music, especially here in Nagaland, as a business.
As a business.
So I think that's something that musicians should do, try and market and network with people that are actually in the industry. Because in Nagaland there's hardly any venues or
Right.
there's hardly any shows that happen. So in order for you to take music as a profession and do something with it, I think we need to stress on the importance of networking with people that are actually doing this and that are in the industry.
And do you also feel like once you get into the whole business, I mean, there is a small like sliver of chance that you might like lose the passion and then just do it for the
There is, but I think it's important to have a backup plan as well,
Right.
especially with music, because music,
it's not a
it's
sure
not
thing.
a lucrative,
Yes.
and I mean only a few people make it. We haven't made it yet.
And I think it's not just in Nagaland or Northeast, it's just
everywhere.
everywhere. It's just something
Exactly.
frowned upon. Okay, musician,
Yeah.
like, okay, how is it going to pay your bills, right? Like,
Exactly.
that's the question that
So
always
it's good
arises.
to have a backup plan as well with doing music.
Yeah. So you have been in the music scene for quite a while now. If I might say so myself, a veteran of some sort. So, like, if there's an advice, just one piece of advice that you really think will help a musician go a long way.
Piece of advice that I like to give out to
To a budding
aspire-
musician.
aspire. I think it's important to know your worth,
Mm-hmm.
and like I mentioned earlier, network. And I think, just have a backup plan. I think that's very important as well.
Right.
So
Just be a little realistic.
Exactly.
I mean, dream big.
Of course, it's very good to be passionate
Yeah.
and all of those good things. And I think it's important, but it's very important to know your worth. Network, which is very, very important. I can't stress enough how important it is, and have a backup plan.
Since you're a band, this question just popped up, and then this is one question that I ask all bands. So you mentioned earlier that some of the band members are from Kohima, and then there's your brother who produces and is the guitarist. I mean, how taxing is it to like all get together for like
It's
a jam
very,
session?
very taxing, and it's frustrating at times as well. But I think we've been able to manage all of that pretty well up to today, and especially with it's really frustrating when during our jam sessions and the recording sessions as well, because we'll have to curate when someone comes
Right.
in, then go out. Then there's so many things to recording an album. We need someone to be there, and sometimes they're not. So it's just like any profession. It's very frustrating at times, but also very frustrating at times, and also it has its good moments.
Right. I mean, that's the thing with working with a band. And I mean, if you're a solo artist, that's one thing. But with the band, I mean, when one's busy, the other one's
Exactly,
not.
yes.
When someone's free, two others can't make it. So that's the reason. Like, I keep asking, like, when you first started out, like, did those factors like play in? Like,
Never. I think it never does with anyone's getting into music initially. But once you get into the business, and once you get into actually playing live shows and
Right.
just going out on tour, all of that becomes a factor. So you'll have to figure out how you manage everyone, because I usually manage everyone in the band, especially with us curating shows in cities and all of that. I have contacts there as well, like especially for for the guys in the band. I'm the one that's directing them to do this, do that.
right.
So
So you're a manager and
in
the
a way,
front
yes.
man. I think in a lot of ways you're a manager, creating the shows, managing the band members. I mean, I think that's a lot of work.
Exactly, yes. And it's very frustrating at times. I think people that do what I do will appreciate me saying
Right,
this.
right. I mean, I appreciate because I manage 3 artists. So let's get into the album that's coming up. What's it called? How long did it take for you guys to curate the whole album?
Okay, the album is called To Feel Human. If you follow us on our
Right.
socials, you probably know what the album is. So the album took us 4.5 years to write and produce. And I think we wrote roughly close to about 25 songs for the album.
25
25,
songs.
yeah. And we've been able to narrow it down to just 8 for now. Hopefully you'll get to hear a lot more about the remaining songs once the album cycle is done. So the album has 8 songs, and a lot of people has been asking me what the album is, and I've not ever really been able to describe to them what
what the album is,
Right.
but me just thinking about it, I think the album is about embracing change and life as it happened through the eyes of the four of us in the band.
That is something else.
And even with the way we went about recording the album, we made sure that with the drums, we made sure that we recorded everything live, from the drums to the guitars, the bass, the synths, just the sounds that we have on the album. It was very important to us that it came from a person and not from a computer,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, people do that. People
Sampling?
sampling and
Yeah.
all of that. But for us, it was very important that we were able to connect with our audience in the most human way possible.
Mhm.
So, just taking all of that into perspective, and the album is also talks a lot about mental health, and my battles with mental health, me having anxiety issues, and just all of that. And I think having to live through all of those moments in life is what makes all of us human.
Right.
So I think taking all of that into perspective, we felt it was very appropriate and fitting to call the album To Feel Human.
Well, I think that is a wonderful approach to your music. I think it's very important also to stress on such issues because it's not as talked about as it should be. And from what you've told me, you've held 2 listening sessions. I mean, was that one of the topics that you stressed? Like when these are like intimate listening sessions, right? So like, how did it go about? And then, how was the response?
So we did 2 sessions, one in Kohima and the other one in Dimapur. And I think the response has been the response has been very positive. And, it's, we, had this preconceived notion that, this song will be an audience, a fan favorite or something
Right.
like that. But to our surprise, in the 2 listening sessions that we did in Kohima and Dimapur, everyone had their own personal favorite.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a song that was unanimously, a favorite by everyone. So I think that's something that we're very proud about with the album, that it has
Not just one
not-
hit, but
yeah,
like all the songs that you
it
put
has
out. Yeah.
a song for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think that's something
To be
to
very
look forward
yeah,
to with the album.
And I am also looking forward to the album coming out. So you said it's coming out on
22nd.
22nd of
October,
October on all streaming
All
platforms.
streaming platforms. Yeah.
YouTube. Is there
YouTube Music, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. You can find it on Instagram Reels as well.
Right.
And
So that's Polar Lights, Mar Jamir, the frontman of Polar Lights, here with us. Thank you so much for coming in. While we're at it, follow them on social media, Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter as well.
Twitter, YouTube,
We
at
need-
the
we
rate
need-
Polar
we need
Lights.
to get our Twitter followers up. So follow us on Twitter.
And with that being said, that's all we have for today. This is your RJ Marjong signing off. Thank you and have a good day.
You're listening to 90.8 Hills FM Radio.
This is 90.8 Hills FM radio station, using our voice to rate your choice. Stay tuned.
Well, what can say? I think Marjan did a remarkable job by speaking to Mar, and how Mar actually shared about the journey of the team within early 2013 when the band started, and also the journey of how they strategically put their singles and their album in such a manner to introduce themselves. One of the things that I really enjoyed listening to this interview, where Marjan asked the right questions and how Mar responded. And honestly speaking, I think this is an art of communicating, where you actually say it from your heart. And Mar has given enough experience tips to all the musicians out there who have not experienced yet, but definitely this goes out to everybody who's listening in today. And perhaps there will be a repetition of this interview, but a lot of takeaways that you can get it from experienced people, because our exposures are different. And every time we listen, we get to learn something new. And for me, definitely. So it is on that note that the community radio wishes to push back the TaFMA Thursday in getting some of the songs that the team, that is the band, had chosen for you to listen this evening. So the next songs that's coming up, it's Perfect View, Electric, A Murder Machine. And I'll be back after these songs. So have a listen and enjoy your evening.
Remember me without the shame, regrets. And do you feel like the walls are closing in, like you're trapped inside a box underneath your skin? Well, sometimes I do, and it feels like I'm addicted to the shame, abuse. You keep questioning yourself, how you got this far, and you're trying to mend your broken little home with a broken heart. Well, I know you do, but someday you get the perfect view. Floodlights take me back to the start. I left a note and forgot to leave a mark. We're just hanging on a string, and my love went blind at the sight of a diamond ring. Oh, love went blind at the sight of a diamond ring. Oh, love went blind at the sight of a diamond ring. Oh, you see me walk out the door before, but there's an angel knocking at my door. Do you feel like the walls are closing in, like you're trapped inside a box underneath your skin? Well, sometimes I do, and it feels like I'm addicted to the shame, abuse. afraid to dream and look into the future. What if I crash into a wall and then it kills me? Afraid of all the things that I'll uncover. What if my mind erupts and no one understands me? Afraid my past will haunt me to remember the feeling when my fingers on the trigger, the feeling. What if my mind erupts and no one understands me? What if my mind erupts and no one understands me? What if my mind erupts and no one understands me? What if my mind erupts and no one understands me? What if my mind erupts and no one understands me? Yeah, depression's my only disciple. Love me inside a mental asylum. I am afraid of my mind and my health. Don't leave me alone by myself. Oh, doctor, I'm still not convinced. Your prescription's not helping, I'm sick. I can feel it run straight through my chest like electric shoots down my neck. Believe Summer nights we thought it would last forever, and we thought we had the world on our shoulders. As free as a bird, that's how we dreamt at the end, but never knew that we were all just part of a plan. And in time we'll find that we were not enough for the ones with their heads living high above. We made our way for the sun, but now we're freezing cold. If life had only just begun, why do we feel so old? For at the end of the day, we're all just little paintings waiting to be erased for time. And this a murder machine kills you when you're asleep. And I won't deny, I'm like a thief on the run. I even sleep with a gun. I see the light, but it's all so far away. How we've been running in circles every single day. Come along, we got a long way to go. Just write your names in blood and watch your stories unfold. We were young, immature, got caught up in the bright lights, sold our souls for a taste of the high life. Then in time we'll find that we were not enough for the ones with their heads living. For time is a murder machine, kills you when you're asleep. And I won't deny, I'm like a thief on the run. I even sleep with a gun. I see the light, but it's all so far away. We've been running in circles every single day. Waking up is just another mistake. They dragged us to a ruin and corrupted our faith. Now we're 6 feet underneath the ground, and we're running out of time. Is a murder machine, kills you when you're asleep. And I won't deny, I'm like a thief on the run. I even sleep with a gun. I see the light, but it's all so far away. We've been running in circles every single time. Is a murder machine, kills you when you're asleep. And I won't deny, I'm like a thief on the run. I even sleep with a gun. I see the light, but it's all so far away. We've been running in circles every single day. Summer nights we thought it would last forever, and we thought we had the world on our shoulders. As free as a bird, that's how we dreamt at the end, but never knew that we were all just part of a plan. And in time we'll find that we were not enough for the ones with their heads living high above.
Well, with all the personal pick songs from the band for you to listen this evening, we're grateful to the band for doing that and also taking out time to send out the message for all the listeners this evening. Well, TaFMA Thursday is actually looking out for all the local musicians that have been born from Nagaland. And we would like to encourage for all of you, for those who know some people who should be worthy to be listened, you know where to get through us. Our social media accounts are open. The phone numbers are available. DM us and we'll get back to you. The other thing that I wanted to say is, honestly speaking, after listening to what Mar had said about his team and also going through all the interviews that the band has given and the songs, the lyrics, the more I listen to it, indeed, it is speaking of to feel human. And they have done justice because their particular motto, or let's say the intention of the band, has always been from the beginning to really, as something the band firmly believes in, and it's what the band intends to be, being original. And I guess this is one of the biggest struggle that we often face in musicians in Nagaland. I think being original and aspiring to make music at the highest level and influencing the younger generation to be authentic. And that's what Mar said. He spoke about mental health, which also takes away a lot of points if you have listened very carefully, that all the lyrics actually speaks about really, really being human, which means getting to know yourself better, spending time with yourself, accepting the flaws, embracing this fact that you're human and there are ways of getting over with it and moving on positively. And I guess today's TaFMA Thursday has said enough, have done enough, but it's not enough. So we want you to we want to encourage you to go to their YouTubes, listen to their songs, because there are amazing, amazing singles out there that they have made, and listen carefully what message that they are putting out. And it is here that I wish to say something before we sign off, and I hope you like it, you enjoy it. And it's on a positive note that I would like to say, as an RJ of the station for this evening for you, 10 signs you're doing well in life. 1, you have a roof over your head. 2, you ate today. You have a good heart. You wish good for others. You have clean water to drink. Someone loves you and you know it. You strive to be better every single time that you take and you start your day. You have clean clothes to wear. Even if it's torn, it's still clean. You have a dream and you're breathing. And it is here on this note that the team of the Community Radio 90 Point Hills FM wishes to say a very good night for this segment of the TaFMA Thursday, ending now from 6 to 7. You know where to find us every Thursday. And be curious to know who's coming up next week for TaFMA Thursday. Watch out for our social media and tune in, and do share. If you've listened to us, how did you feel? What did you find? If you were happy, and if you like us to feature anybody else. It is here on this note. A very good night. This is your RJ Gugu Haralu signing off.
You're listening to 90.8 Hills FM Radio.
This is 90.8 Hills FM radio station, using our voice to rate your choice. Stay tuned.